Good afternoon, everybody. Pigskin Pete here. Happy off-season to everybody. Coming at you today live from the Roadshow Sports Studios in beautiful Charleston, South Carolina. Everybody give a big shout out to Catfish. I told Catfish I was going to come on today and talk about the Athlon Sports way too early top 25 that they released for 2019 college football season. Now, as your resident SEC hater, being that I'm a Clemson fan, there's several in here I don't believe. I mean, I don't know. Is the entire SEC in the top 25 at this point? Now, I'm not going to go through the whole top 25. We're just going to go through the top 10. Otherwise, we'll be here all day. Now, anybody who's paid attention to my YouTube channel, I'll go ahead and give myself a plug real quick. You can find me at Pigskin Pete on YouTube, just like I saw on the screen there, and on Twitter at Pete Pigskin. And I talk a lot about college football, anything in the news as far as NFL goes as well, and a lot of trolling and or arguing goes on there for my live shows. But anyway, anyone who's seen my videos in the past know how I feel about these top 25 lists, even the AP poll all the way up through week 8. They're basically pointless. The only thing that matters is the college football playoff poll. And that's it. But it's still interesting to see how these publications rank these teams, even though it doesn't matter. So let's start with number 10. I'm going to knock the first three out, the three birds with one stone, okay? A&M at 10, LSU at 9, and Michigan at 8. Now, I actually agree. I don't have any problem with 8, 9, and 10. I've been saying, and I will continue to say, that I think that Texas A&M is an up-and-coming powerhouse. As much as Jimbo Fisher is a piece of crap, I don't like the guy at all. I think he's a snake oil car salesman who will say anything to anybody to win a football game. But here's the thing. He's a great football coach. He's a national title winning coach. He's a great recruiter. We're seeing that now. Listen, what Texas A&M is doing recruiting right now, it should be scary to everybody in the SEC West. And it should also be scary to some of these Big 12 schools like Oklahoma and Texas. Because what he's doing, he's swallowing up all of the best talent in the state of Texas, which we know there's a lot of high school talent there. Put it this way. When Kevin Sumlin was the head coach at A&M, they averaged about 2 or 3 of the top 20 players in Texas in their recruiting classes every year. Well, this year they have 10. They have half of the top players in the state of Texas committed to them. And that is going to pay dividends here in the next couple of years. He's also a great developer of talent, especially quarterback talent. So I'm not sure you're going to see it this year. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure you're probably not going to see it this year. But I'd say 2 years, maybe 3 years from now, Texas A&M is going to be a legit playoff contender. And places like Alabama, Auburn, and LSU, these teams in the West need to watch out because they're coming. Let's see who is on number 9. Number 9, LSU. Now, I'm fine with them being in the top preseason 10 or whatever. Look, I give Ed Orgeron hell. I love the guy. He makes my life on YouTube very easy. But I think they overachieved a little bit last year. And I think they might be a legit top 15 team by the end of this next season. I'm not putting them in the playoff conversation. I know LSU fans are going to freak out on me about this. I don't believe in Joe Burrow. He's not an elite quarterback. He's good. He's serviceable. He's good enough to get you 9 or 10 wins, which is what you got this year, right? So anyway, LSU, fine. Number 9, you could have had him at number 12. I wouldn't argue with that either. Number 8, Michigan. I think this is a very fitting place for them to start, and this might be right around where they end the season, unless they finally get the monkey off their back and win the East and beat Ohio State. Looking at their schedule next year, they don't really have that tough of a schedule other than Ohio State, as far as I can tell. Now, I know they still have to play Penn State and some of the other teams in the Big Ten East that are tougher, but with the departure of Urban Meyer, if Jim Harbaugh and Michigan can't get this thing going and get over that hump this year, then I don't know what to tell you. They won't ever do it. I'm not a believer in Harbaugh. Never was. Everybody before this last season was a believer in Harbaugh, except for Pigskin Peete. And I'm here to tell you, I told you so. He's not going to beat Ohio State, and he's not going to win the East, and he didn't. Anyway, enough of my stuff about that. Properly rated at number 8. We'll see if they stay. That's probably where they're going to stay pretty much all year, or at least end the year. All right, so now we have number 7, Florida, number 6, Texas, and number 5, Ohio State. Oh, I really have a problem with both Florida and Texas, but listen, I don't know why you'd have Florida ahead of Texas A&M, other than the fact that they're in the East, which shouldn't affect your ranking. You're supposed to rank them on how good they are, not what division they play in. So I don't agree. I think that Texas A&M is better than Florida, and Texas A&M is at 10 on this. So anyway, Florida, I think Florida's way overranked here. I wouldn't even have them in the top 10. I'd say they're a legit top 15 team to start the season until they can prove otherwise. But anyway, they're at 7 here, which I don't agree with. Let's see here. Who was number 6? Number 6, Texas. Now, have you ever seen a more massive overreaction to a win over in a bowl game than the Texas one? Now, I think Texas is really good. I'm a huge believer in Tom Herman. Have been since they hired him. They might legit have contend for the Big 12 this year without a problem. I think there's only really 2 teams right now I think that can, and that's Oklahoma and Texas. So of course they have a shot. They played twice this year. They split the series. Of course, the more important one went to Oklahoma, which was the Big 12 title game. But I think Texas is really good. Number 6, though, I'm not buying it. Not buying it. I think they're a little bit overranked here, but they have them at 6. Number 5, Ohio State. I mean, is anybody surprised? Ohio State, Urban Meyer, no Urban Meyer. Hell, you could put me in there at coach. Doesn't matter. Ryan Day, Ryan Knight, who cares? The reality is Ohio State's one of the top 5 most talented teams in the country year in, year out, based on just recruiting. I do think that Ryan Day is going to be a good coach, but is he? It's hard to say he's going to be Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer's a 3-time national title winning coach. But anyway, number 5 until we'll see. They got Justin Fields. This is the quarterback situation is going to be the biggest question mark coming into the season, because Justin Fields, with all the talent in the world coming from Georgia, has very, very little experience. Unless it's just handing the ball off, he doesn't have a lot of experience in big games, especially in a system like they run where they're going to throw the ball over the yard. So we'll see. I'm fine with 5 right now. Things could go south really quickly for Ohio State, or they can sort of stay right where they are. We'll find out. Now, here's the top 4. This is what everybody really cares about, right? I'm just kidding. I think they're all interesting. I even above from 10 to 25, I'm interested in. But the general public they only care about that top 4, right? So number 4, you have Oklahoma. I agree with that. I know that Kyler Murray's gone, but they have one of the most experienced and winningest quarterbacks in college football as a transfer, Jalen Hurts from Alabama. They'll be just fine. I think Jalen Hurts will succeed in that system. And this, I don't know. For some reason, when you say that a lot of quarterbacks can succeed in a system, the fan base gets all up in arms, and they don't like when you say that, right? Oh, he's not just a system player. I didn't say that. But what I'm saying is the system at Oklahoma is very friendly to quarterbacks. It's very hard to defend. And if you have a dual threat like Jalen Hurts is, it's even harder to defend. And they've got skill and speed all over the field. And for the most part, the Big 12 defenses are not elite. So it's a stat machine. And so Jalen Hurts will probably have the best year of his college career stat-wise, simply because he's in the Oklahoma offense. But anyway, I agree with that. Fine. Number 4 is fine. Number 3, Georgia. Yeah, fine. I guess I'm fine with that. They lost 3 games last year. Let's not forget that, though. So, I think it probably would have been a little bit more fair to have maybe Ohio State 3 and Georgia 5, really, honestly. But whatever. These 3, 4, and 5 or that you're splitting hairs. Really are. Now the top two, I think that you're not splitting hairs from 2 to 3 or 1 to 3 because of the two teams that are in the top 2, which we all know who they are. We'll get to them now. They have Clemson coming in at number 2. Now, I know what everybody wants me to do is come on here and act upset about this and rant and rave about how Clemson just blew Alabama out of the water, went 15-0 for the first team in modern history to do that. We have basically our entire offense other than Hunter Renfrow coming back, and we're adding even more elite pieces, especially at the receiver position. So, our running back's coming back, though. Obviously, our superstar quarterback coming back, all these receivers. It's just this offense is going to be so potent. We're losing 4 players off the defensive line to the NFL. But guess what? There's a lot of bad news for everybody who's just hoping that Clemson's defense is going to be bad next year. I hate to break it to you. It's not. Well, the talent might even be better than what we had. Talent, not experience. Just watch. Some of these guys like Xavier Thomas, KJ Henry, these guys are going to be household names next year. Xavier Thomas is a freak defensive end. And anyway, we've been recruiting well. And these guys, again, a lot of these guys have had meaningful snaps, and the only reason they didn't start this year is because who they were playing behind. It's NFL players. But you'll know who they are next year. So Alabama number 1. I don't care. That's great. You could have Clemson number 1, Alabama number 1. Doesn't matter to me. I don't get my feelings hurt over Athlon Sports rankings, first of all, because I just got done telling you the only thing that matters is the College Football Playoff Committee ranking, which we won't see until after week 8 of the season. So a long, long way away from that, aren't we? But anyways, listen, Alabama's been the best team for the past decade, without a doubt. I'm not shocked that they're number 1 in this poll. Now, I think when you come out with some coaching polls and an AP poll, maybe even, you might see Clemson at number 1. And I think if you ask an Alabama fan whether they had Clemson 1 or 2 or Alabama 1 or 2, they probably would tell you the same thing, that they don't care, just like I don't care. So, Alabama's going to be right there. They're the team to beat in the SEC. The winner of the SEC is going to the playoff. So, yada, yada, yada. You get what I'm saying? Doesn't matter if they're 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. They're still a team to beat in the SEC. All right? So, there you have it, folks. There's the Athlon Sports Top 10. Maybe I might have to do another video at some point to talk about some of the 10 through 25, because there's a lot of interesting teams in there as well. Anyways, have a great day. If you're any of these teams where I think you're improperly ranked, Florida, Texas, Georgia, don't get your feelings hurt. Or get your feelings hurt, I don't care. Have a great day. Roadshow Sports Studio from Charleston, South Carolina. Pigskin Peete checking out.